Good morning, everyone. Brian K. Morris here, welcoming you to Never Mind the Furthermore. We're going to have special guest CARA NICOLE on later on today, but first we're going to have some creative conversation with you. So stay tuned, and we'll be back in about a minute or so.
Seconds.
Now comes the part where we throw our heads back and laugh. Ready?
Ready!
How dare you!
Welcome to Nevermind the Furthermore, your morning dose of creative conversation and coffee with your host, Brian K. Morris, independent publisher, freelance hybrid author, award-winning playwright, Facebook famous YouTuber, and former Morticians assistant. Get ready to start your day off right.
And good morning, everyone. How the heck are you? Welcome to Never Mind the Furthermore for Friday, January 21st, 2022. Like I said earlier, CARA NICOLE is going to join us later on in the show. We're letting her sleep in a few minutes because she's living in Arizona, and we're on the eastern side of the fruited plains. So we're letting her get a couple more minutes of sleep here. But anyway, while we do, let's spend some time together. And first thing we want to do is express our attitude of gratitude for our sponsor, Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you. Putting together a really terrific book, fully edited and formatted and all, is a lot of work. And you don't want to go to all the effort then to have to try to put together your own book cover. I've done that before. It looked like crap. Anyway, if you want a crapless cover, you definitely want to check out what Jeffrey Hayes can do for you via Plasma Fire Graphics. First, go to their Facebook page, Plasma Fire Graphics, and see all the beautiful covers they've done for various publishers like Ben Books, Prose Press, and all. Just, you know, there's a reason why Jeffrey Hayes' name opens doors in this community, okay? Anyway, check those books covers out, and then go to plasmafiregraphics.com, check out more examples there, and then contact him directly and find out what his indie-friendly prices are. Yes, we're making this up out of our head. And anyway, please check it out. You'll be pleased with the work, and he's wonderful to deal with. I'm working on him right now with a couple of other projects, and they're looking great. So it's Plasma Fire Graphics to you, because it definitely matters to your readers. We are part of the Rising Tide Broadcast Network, bringing entertainment and enlightenment 7 days a week over the interwebs. And Friday, we're not done with you yet by Jingo. Anyway, tonight I'll be drinking with the Davies, with Christine and Ted Davies, in that order. It's going to be another fun show as they explore the world of adult beverages. And then following that will be Nicholas Anthony Tuckard with the Historical Fencing Guild, where he'll talk to you all about weaponry and combat and martial arts. And it's just a great high-energy learning experience. You're going to have a great time. Tomorrow night, 10 p.m. from the desk of the small press publisher, Joe D. McPhee crawls up out of his sickbed and talks comics with you for a couple hours. He is fantastic. You will love it. And then on Stupid O'Clock at 11, be prepared for all kinds of great geeky talk. And as a whole bunch of educated and funny nerds get together and discuss what's going on. That's followed at 1 a.m. on Sunday with Last Man Standing from Dan Holofield. And we wrap up the broadcast week with Comics, Chaos, and Sass with Heather Ellen. So please check check out our page on Facebook. Please give the Facebook page Rising Tide Network a like if you would, and follow some of our exploits on there. We also want to thank our Patreon subscribers, many of whom have their own Patreon, so please check them out. In return for your modest financial stipend every month, you get stuff in return. We've got blog entries for $5 a month. You can look at our latest works in progress. And right now we're wrapping up our next novel, The Terrors, in that forum. And you can also comment, maybe guide the course of that book. I might rewrite it if you give me a good idea. But anyway, please check it out on at www.patreon.com/Brian K. Morris. These people are helping keep the Rising Tide. Very, very grateful to them. And I think that's it. We've got a whole bunch of comments. Now, let me explain a couple ground rules. We don't often have guests, but when we do, we make sure they're really special. And CARA NICOLE is one of the people that we get the most requests for because she's brilliant. She's beautiful, great cosplayer, great creator. She writes, she draws, she does like darn near everything. She sings, and she's got a brand new book out now called Unstable Frequencies that we will be talking about. And Gloriosity, I just give her an introduction, and there she is. All right, if she's ready, I am too, I think. So anyway, we'll just add her to the stream here, and here she is, CARA NICOLE. How you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. It's morning here, so it's like 8 o'clock.
I'll try not to make any sudden movements or anything frightening. So, yeah, I see you've got the proper amount size of coffee. I feel totally inadequate now. You know, size does count.
Cup. This is the smaller cup. I've got one that's about twice this size.
That's okay. I'm going more towards the source here. So.
Oh yeah, my man.
I got set a good example for the youth of America.
Well, I'm having a tea morning because I ran out of coffee.
Oh my God. Damn. You're a far braver woman than I could ever be. Well, except me, Joe. But anyway, we're glad you're here.
Well, thank you for having me. I always like being on.
I do too. I love having you on here. First of all, for those of you who may not know who you are, there may be one person out there, but let's illuminate them. I'm going to give you the whole screen here, CARA, and tell everybody who you are and why you are so amazing and why we all adore you.
Okay, so I am CARA NICOLE. I am a cosplayer, but I'm also a publisher of comic books, a writer. I do a little bit of colors. I do more focusing on writing these days. And I currently have a book on Kickstarter, as well as a couple of campaigns still open up on Indiegogo. So, yeah, I've got my book, Unstable Frequencies, that I work with Alfred Trujillo on. And that is a 4-story horror anthology that we are incredibly excited about. We have so many artists on this campaign. It's amazing. We've got a different artist for every story, as well as tons of variant covers, as well as cosplay covers. And all of our stories are very different and happen all over the world in different time periods. And they are not exactly the same kind of horror option. So.
Oh, that's fantastic. And if anybody wants to check that out while we're talking, check it out at unstablefrequencies.com or Suffer the Scorn of Your Peers. They will make fun of
me or you.
Right. That's true. I'm willing to make fun of anyone that doesn't support this book because actually I am a supporter of it. I did pledge to this, so yay! I did before I forgot. That's my main problem with this. So, but no, you've done some really cool projects over just the last year alone. That the 52 pinup, which of course, I keep one, on hand. You never know when you're going to need it. And, I've also keep my card deck nearby. Probably a terrifying glimpse into my stalking you. But, like, that's a secret.
You only have one deck? I got like 400 back there.
That's true. So, and CARA was willing to sell them all to you folks, so get busy.
I am willing to sell them all to you. I need the room.
Oh boy, I can imagine. Well, the thing is, I remember you went through so much just trying to get that put together.
I did. The first company I had used made them terrible. No backs.
Ooh.
weird material. Like, I don't even know what this is. It's definitely not playing card material. And they were bridge cards. They smashed all the art. It was so weird.
Oh no.
And they're like, they were a company out of Vegas. How do you screw up playing cards out of Vegas? I'm like, if I have to sue these people, this is going to be so easy.
Each servant just walk down the block and there they are.
Do you think this is a deck of poker cards?
Yeah. Oh my god. But no, it's, that's the one thing, it's like I have found myself pleasantly surprised. I've also supported the Fire Bitch campaign, and I was just delighted. It was like, opening this up and opening the Fire Bitch book up, which both, by the way, I enjoyed Fire Bitch quite a bit, and I'm waiting for people to start nagging you for number 3.
It's coming. We're working on it. We're working on it. I would love a write-up from you of what you thought of Fire Bitch. I'm trying to get like people that are readers, because usually people that are readers know how to write coherently.
Oh, and you want me to do one too. So
I
anyway,
I would love to be able to put out like a little Brian K. Morris review.
I'm writing it down. I'm putting it on my list of things to do this weekend. How's that?
I love it. That's awesome.
All right. I take care of my people.
Well, Fire Bitch, is a superhero comedy.
Yeah.
Whereas Unstable Frequencies is horror.
Yeah. Now let's hear more about that. Now, people want that know you're going to have some sexy and provocative covers. Yeah. And maybe 1 or 2. But what was it? 30 levels, I think this has?
We've got over 40 covers. We've got the tiers, and then we've got to build your own, and we've got add-on books, and we've got so many.
Yes, and good luck with that. Anyway, but the thing is also it's made its it made its goal. It funded in 2 minutes? You told me.
Yeah, 2 minutes.
That's unreal. That's incredible. But
we used to fund in 10 seconds, but when we started adding more tiers, it took people a little while to figure out what they wanted.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, that's the thing. As I started to say, it's like opening up the packages from you. I have to answer to somebody. She manages my budget, and I've had that talk about my Kickstarter campaign. So next time you see her, I want you to put in a good word for me. But it may be a lot.
Tell her that they're tax deductible.
I should mention that. Yeah, it's research. That's it. Yeah.
It is research. Now, it's not tax deductible, so people will come back and say, no, it's not tax deductible. It is not tax deductible as a donation to a charity. Even though it's a donation to a Kickstarter, that is not what makes it tax deductible. What makes it tax deductible is if you are in this industry, if you are a comic book publisher, creator, whatever, it is part one, it's advertising. Because when I buy from your Kickstarter and you buy from mine and we both put that out that, we did that, it's a cross promotion. So it's advertising, it's research. It's because you want to see how people's packages are coming. You want to see what's standard. So it's for your business. It is tax deductible, but it is not tax deductible for a regular person as a donation to a charity.
That's true. And folks, please share this video on all your social media, especially your friends that are in the industry and need tax advice. Now, we are not trained tax professionals, but she's right. So anyway, but no, what's the level of horror in this? Because again, and I hate to keep harping on this.
No. I love this. Let's talk about this. A lot of people don't really know how to talk writing, and you, my man, you're a writer. That's what you do. So,
I appreciate that, and you're pretty darn talented yourself. Well, the thing is, it's like, what is the horror level on this? If you were rating it like a movie, for instance, because we had this discussion when we talked about Fire Bitch a while back, that a lot of people see the sexy covers, they see all the tiers you're offering, but you open that book and it's one that I'd leave on the coffee table, and I wouldn't worry about if one of my nephews picked it up and started flipping through there. It's safe enough for them. Where would you put the level of intensity on this?
I would say that this is a PG-13 as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a PG-13. It is not gore porn, just so you know. It is not gore. There's not, you don't just open it up and see blood splattering everywhere. Like, that's not how we roll. Like, I really wanted something a little more psychological.
Yeah.
This would go under kind of a Tales from the Crypt.
Okay. All
So
right.
kind of a Tales from the Crypt, the TV show.
Right.
Not Bordello of Blood. That was trash. I don't know what that was.
Yeah. Yeah. So if we're talking comics, we're talking early to mid horror EC instead of the stuff at the end when they were deliberately trying to shock people.
Little bit of Demon Knight, no F-bombs. I don't think there's any F-bombs. I don't believe that there's any F-bombs.
Okay.
So,
the only F-bomb will be here.
I love it.
Yeah, somebody made that for me because Cookie one morning didn't realize how sensitive this microphone is. And she unleashed an F-bomb. So Lauren Waldron made this for me. So every time I open my mouth, I can always stop my swearing, and you won't hear me say all the time. So anyway,
I love that. That is fantastic. I need that.
Isn't that genius? I'll give you the. I'll tell you. I'll try and get you the link to the gentleman whose wife made this for me. She, maybe she can make one for you.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is. It is fantastic, and unfortunately, I've almost worn one out. So I think it's given me license. Oh my God! No, this I'm really excited by this, and I remembered I actually did some prep on this show for love of God. See, that's how much I care. You want to run shall I run the video?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, let's see. Hide current comment. Don't talk out loud while you're doing this, so that people will think it's really slick and everything. Share system audio. This is how you're learning how to do this, people. And there no, that's not it. Let's see. I think it's it. Nope. Let's see. Frequencies. Where did I put that on here? I know I had it. Oh, yes, I do have it. There we go. Okay. Had the wrong one. There we go. That's it. And share. Yeah, slick, huh? Boy, this is just like Vegas or something. It's like a professional show. Anyway, here we go. And check out this video from CARA NICOLE on her brand new project. There we go. God bless it. There we go. All right, here we go.
Why, hello. I am your hostess, and you will be filling my dreams with your screams. What is a horror story, if not our darkest fears and fantasies brought so close to life? Welcome to my world, where the frequency is unstable. And do be warned, if you go on, you may very well find yourself past the point of no return. I bring you 4 beautifully illustrated stories of a world not unlike our own. Terrors invade the lives of Ruth, Michelle, Dee Dee, and Natalia as they cross over the singularity into the world of unstable frequencies. The poignant and sexy art in these individual stories will fill your minds with dread and haunt your very being. Maverick artists have reached into their darkness and brilliancy to bring you this beautiful nightmare, while cosplay options will overwhelm you with their allure. We all deserve a little extra. And truly chilling stretch goals will be your reward for crossing the threshold into the land of torment and dread. Decorate your dwelling with ravishing scream queens from the pages of our Book of Shadows. Join me and cradle the fatal, where the frequency is unstable.
And I love that. That is a great trailer. I love the writing on the copy. That was beautiful.
Alfred did a wonderful job on that.
Oh, he wrote it?
Yeah, he usually writes and then he'll write it all up, and then I'll go in and I'll be like, I'm gonna move that and change that and move that. I edit,
Oh, please pass on my compliments. That was awesome. That was great copy there. Seriously. And
I appreciate that you know what that word means.
Yes,
and that you use it.
I do. I've done advertising work. I actually did a campaign years ago for Coca-Cola.
Wow.
It was a long time ago. It was what was it? It was one of their, I don't think they make the variant anymore. It's one of their diet colas, but it had aloe in it. And a friend of mine was working with an agency out of Atlanta, and he said, well, I know a copywriter who can help you with this. And we had to skirt around the issue that aloe is a laxative.
Yes, you're right. You do.
Yeah.
It is, and nobody knows that. When you drink it, you're like, oh, that's it's bad.
Yeah, this, if you ever read the review for Haribo
Diet
Bear, yes. I read that page. I read the reviews on the Amazon page whenever I get depressed, because then I just start laughing out loud. I've never heard any human sphincter referred to as a hellgate before until I started reading those.
I love reading reviews. I seriously have been debating, do I just do a show where I just go through my Facebook feed and read the comments on advertised items?
Oh God, yes. That's a great idea, actually.
I thought about it. Some girl referred to her Lady Bits as a quarter pounder.
Was she searching for the Big Mac of her dreams? What?
Oh, no, it was for some little outfit that was so tiny that that's covering nothing. It was really hilarious. All these women talking about, that ain't gonna cover my quarter pounder, that ain't gonna cover my yeah.
Well, this no, I'm not going. I'm gonna stop right there. Because we got one of my guys here, Carl Witzman, is a mod here, and he is standing by in case I start mouthing off.
Oh,
he has a command from me that if I go on a rant, like say about COVID or something like that, he needs to come in here and kill my microphone until I come to my senses. So we're trying to make this as safe an environment as possible, despite the host. But I know. But let's get some comments in here, because we got some people that like say hello to you. Like, I think you know this guy, Mike Jimmy Lorsha de Bruin. It's a Friday. He's looking at a long weekend. Let's keep grinding and hitting our goals. I love hearing that. Seriously. Yeah. It's always a pleasure to see Kara around. Nothing but respect for her and her work. Definitely. And there's my man, Carl Witzman. Good morning, everyone. Did not sleep well last night, so I won't be conversing a lot. Just doing the spam bot watch. We have moved up in the world, Kara. You're in the big broadcasting leagues now. We have gotten the attention of Russian porn bots.
Oh no.
I know. How did they find out I'm their prime audience?
Okay, I look forward to the day when I am bait for Russian porn bots.
There we go. Well, if I can get my Russian cohorts to invade your YouTube channel, and no, that's not code, people. Don't read anything more into that than necessary. But anyway, Ace Bonnie says, good morning. At what frequency does laughter become painful gigahertz?
Oh, I thought it was doe slaughter.
Oh, doe slaughter. Okay, I thought doe slaughter. Oh my God, we do not condemn the slaughter of does on this or any other wildlife, except if they make good hamburger. Anyway, it's like, Kara's like, what the hell have I wandered into? That's a shame. You have time for a nap at least. And Trish Bingston, who also has her own Kickstarter going right now. Please support that too. All right.
Yeah, I've already done that. Good job, Trish.
Excellent. I've got to get over there too. And Mike Jimmy Lorson, I would nap before my event tonight. Yes, tonight is the Green Room with Uncle Carl. and we'll see Uncle Carl in all his drunken glory. It'll be wonderful. And
Well, I know what I might be doing tonight.
There we go. Well, you know you're welcome there. That's why you're on that page. So
I am, yeah.
the secret humor page of Uncle Carl's, which is the worst kept secret on the entire internet. And Trish Mason says, "I love my old lady nap time." I understand that. Cookie just switched shifts at her job. She had been working second shift, which meant she got off anywhere from 10 o'clock to 3:30 in the morning, 10 o'clock at night to 3:30. And so she switched now to the morning shift, where she has to be there by 5 o'clock. And being the dutiful husband that I am, I get up with her at 4 o'clock.
Aww.
And I know, right? And the thing is, I'm naturally nocturnal. In fact, that's where she found out I swore, because she woke me up early one morning, and I told her to off, and she was not real happy with me. And I said, "Excuse me, I meant to say off, darling." So that always add darling. See, this way it becomes a romance story.
Yes, absolutely.
Exactly. You can see Kara's heart has been melted, and it's grown 3 sizes just hearing that. But no, that's been a running joke for 30 years with us. But I am not nocturnal. I am nocturnal. I am not a morning person by any stretch. And so I had to make an adjustment in 3 days, and so I've been taking old man naps a couple times this week. I know, but
just stay up all night, and then get her on her way, and then go to sleep.
That's a thought, but then I'd have to give this up.
Oh
See?
yeah, no, we can't.
We can't. It's a public service, and we wouldn't be here talking if I did that. So, you'd be sleeping in. So then, and all of a sudden, Kara's going, he's got a point. But anyway, everyone's saying hello. Good morning, Donna, Carly, Carlene. Good to see you too. Hey there, Trish, and Sarah. Good to see you, Mwah. And I have worked my ass off, says Mike, Jimmy, Lordship de Bruin. Screw the world. I love my worked my ass off. Screw the world nap time. I like that too.
I love naps, though. Naps are wonderful. They're just so cozy and nice, and I love naps.
Oh God, me too. Especially when I say I'm going to only take a nap for 15 minutes. I'm going to take a power nap, and it turns into like an hour and a half. So,
do you ever do a caffeine nap? Just so you know, if you're ever really stuck, drink like an energy drink or a cup of coffee, then take a nap, then wake up.
Yeah. I forgot to drink the coffee was my problem.
Yeah.
So, and yes, enjoy it for it doesn't last long enough. That is so true. And if anybody has any questions for Kara, please ask them. Otherwise, we'll just flip through your comments here. Mike Jimmy is finishing up the page for Life on Cora. May just go into a full inking marathon. These pages are insane. That is great. Now that brings up a question. Does Alfred work analog, or does he do all digital these days?
He does both. He does both. For interior pages and stuff, he works digitally. It's a lot easier just to get everything kind of done and out there. He does a lot of his paintings digitally as well.
Okay, cool. Now I know you've done analog. Because I remember
I've done both.
Okay, you do computer too? Okay, cool.
I colored Fire Bitch, the interiors for both those books. The second one, I did have some help. We had a little bit of a time constraint happen. And, I use digital for that. I do some, some actual physical art as well.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. And see, everybody's talking. And no, she wasn't late. In fact, Kara was early. I told her to show up at about 1:15, but for some reason she couldn't wait to be here. So anyway, or she misread her clock, one of the two. So, excuse me. And good morning to Teresa Dunn. Have a great weekend yourself. And that's right, Kara is never late, says Ace Bonnie. She arrives precisely when she means to. Exactly. And we have the great Glenn B. Fleming. Brian, what? Glenn, how you doing, Glenn? And Ted Davies Artistry, good morning to see you. Chris, that's his wife, will be on Drinking with the Davies tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern on the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. They're making up the Blue Freeze. Come chill with them tonight. Excuse me. And we are not going to have any plugs today, Mike Jimmy. So that's why we're not going to tell you to go over to Facebook real quick, because links for Life on Korra number 5 is currently at 820 euros. We're not going to mention that. We're not going to mention 25 backers. And so give yourself a plushie. That's not code. And choose an awesome cover over on Indiegogo. We're not going to mention that Indiegogo address either. So I guess I showed you, didn't I? Anyway, hello, Keely Chow. Good morning. What's going on? We're just making it up as we go along. Glad you're here. And Carl Witzman says, I'm awake. He just killed one of the Russian bots. And good morning, Molly Daniels. Your team drank the last of his coffee. When will services be? Let us know. And Blue Freeze and Sarah says, nice room. Good to see you. And Keely Chow says, the Arizona Power Girl. Hey, CARA Nicole. And more likes than views. Good job. Excellent. And also, this reminder, check out Kara's work. We just ran the video for Unstable Frequencies. It looks good. I'm really excited about getting this. And Sarah is a horror fan. So, Sarah, we got to talk about getting you able to get on Kickstarter. And peer pressure at its best. That's what we specialize in here, Mike Jimmy. We try to be subtle about it. But anyway, please put it in the comments. Please, if you have questions for Kara, please share them. Otherwise, she'll be forced to talk to me for the next hour or two. So anyway, you're looking at your agenda, over the course of your Kickstarter career. You do a comic book, then you do a calendar, then you do the card set with magazine, and now you're doing another comic book. How do you pick your projects, and how do you prioritize them?
Well, it's been a long journey trying to figure out how we prioritize. Fire Bitch obviously is pretty big up there because she's kind of our main girl.
Sure.
But this is a project that I'd had on the back burner for a while. And then we have multiple stories. So because of the way that this book is run, every story is its own and every story ends on its own. But they can continue. Good. They are not necessarily going to continue, but they can, which any story can continue. We know that. Right. I do usually try to do a couple of cosplays per year as far as cosplay projects. So my calendar is always going to be, your end of the year project. And then everything else, we just kind of go based on what we are available to make happen at the time. Getting covers, getting art, getting, scripts, getting everything together. So with this one, we had quite a few stories in the universe of Unstable Frequencies, but we had to choose which ones are going to go in the first issue of the book. And I get a lot of questions about the next book. Is the next book going to be a continuation of these stories? No, absolutely not. We might have one or two come back. A lot of that's going to come down to you guys. If you want to see something return, if you want to see something come back, you got to let me know. Like, well, maybe this story gets like a lot of feedback. People really, really love it. Maybe this one will come back in the next issue. But then the other ones might have to wait a couple of issues. Right.
And we will be listing, we will have Kara tell you where to get in touch with her so that you can follow her amazing exploits. Well, in fact, let's start it right now. Where could people follow you and get word to you how much they love your work?
So you can follow me everywhere on the socials as AZ Power Girl, like the letters A, Z, first letter, last letter of the alphabet, Power Girl. I'm the AZ Power Girl on YouTube, but I'm AZ Power Girl everywhere else.
Excellent. And Ace Bonnie is ahead of me already, ahead of us both. Check out Kara's other great work. Go to 183degreesstudio.com. Well done, Ace. Well done. And Sarah says, who is a budding writer herself, says Kara's inspired me right now. Wow, I'm impressed. You can work up to this, Sarah, seriously. And yes, I'm saying I have nothing to do. Proud of all you do. Love you, Sarah. And Eric Hawkins from Comic Book Spectrum and all kinds of wonderful shows. How you doing, Eric? Good morning. And Eric won his art contest last night on Drawn and Quartered.
Congratulations.
It's fantastic. He did a great job. Eric and I are collaborating on some stuff this year, in fact. So, Mike Jimmy Lorsha DeBruyne says, I love how the moment Kara showed up, the entire chat went, we're listening. Shush, let them talk. Well, this is the audience participation part of the show, so you guys are welcome to. If you have a question for Kara, please type it in the comments, and I will read it. Going down for more coffee now that the Eric Hawkins is here to watch for bots. That's right.
Carl, bring me some coffee too. 2 stevias, please. No,
yeah, it's stat. I mean, stat. This woman needs it desperately. And 42K. Damn. Yeah, that's right. Let's see. Oops, I gotta shrink the screen. You were looking at a $2,000 goal. Not bad. And you are over that by $40,096. Well done, young lady.
Okay, just so you know, I spent more than $2,000 before we even put the campaign together.
I'm sure. I mean, my God, you've got like, what, 40 reward tiers? I mean,
we've got a lot of reward tiers, and then we've got a lot of additional covers as well. So
yeah.
And we did this one very interestingly. I don't know if you want to pull up the campaign and scroll through it so people can see some of the interiors and get an idea of the different stories.
Let's you start talking and I will start scrolling. How does that sound?
Awesome.
All
so
right.
First of all, one of the things that Alfred and I went rounds on with this is he said, who are we going to have draw it? I said, I want different artists for every story. And he's looking at me like, are you crazy? What? Who does that?
I know.
Right?
Good kind of crazy.
And I'm like, well, no, I think it's a great idea. I think that having each story be done by a different artist lets the art style match the story. So this is the hostess, and she's kind of your crypt keeper.
Uh-huh.
And we have a main cover. And that main cover is going to have all of the stories in it as well as some additional content. This is called the Build Your Own. So how this works is you pay for your basic shipping. It's like your box, your bubble wrap, it covers my first down payment on shipping. Like this covers shipping. Mm-hmm. And then what you can do is go through and fill it with anything you want. Even if you just want a couple of add-on books and not an actual tier book, you want an add-on book, anything you want that is available, you just go ahead and add it to that box. If you only want a t-shirt, if you only want an evil eye, which you can actually get as well. Any physical thing will come with a stretch goal pack. So if you just want one book, whatever you want, this covers your base shipping for it.
Mm-hmm. And we'll scroll down now.
There you go. So the stories. So we've got four tales over here. And this comes from our Blackbird Down Under. You can see all the little Australian elements there. Dee Dee's Dwelling of the Dead. The CB Zane did a cover for us as well as he's doing the interiors. And you can see those interiors are going to look sick. They're so good. And Dee Dee is a death doula. Does anyone know? Do you know what a death doula is?
Oh, I used to. Oh, God, I can't think of it.
So you know what a doula is?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Yeah. So when you're going to have a baby, this person comes and they help you. They're kind of like your midwife.
Right, right.
Well, a death doula helps you when you're passing on. So this person is going to help you pass on into the afterlife. They're going to help you to feel comfortable with your death and that sort of thing. So Dee Dee actually runs a hospice center where she helps people prepare for their afterlife. And this is actually, if you notice that castle, that is actually Bishop's Castle, which is in Rye, Colorado. It is a real castle.
Oh, wow.
And this guy in the 60s was just like, I own this land now. Here's a rock. There's another rock. I'm going to get more rocks and we're going to make a castle. And he did it. He just literally started stacking stuff and making this castle. It's an incredible story just of the castle alone. So we decided to put our girl Dee Dee right in there. And you can tell that it is a ghost story.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Nice. Nice. And
so then we've got Michelle and the Blackbird Down Under. And this is about a young woman whose mother was killed. And she's trying to uncover her mother's secrets as to why she was killed. This takes place in the 1980s in Australia. And we've got Ariel Medell, who did the interiors, Miriam Yasser on colors.
Nice.
And we're just super, super, super thrilled about it. You can see the artwork just looks amazing.
It does. Good storytelling there. Nice storytelling.
And I have like all these like little things. So in Blackbird Down Under, we actually mention a bookstore that is a real bookstore in Australia, the real owner and everything.
Oh, that's awesome. That is fantastic.
So
And there we go.
This one is regarding Ruth, and JT Malloy did the interiors, is working on the interiors for this one. And this is the story of a young woman who is an amputee. She's missing her legs, and she is in the early 1900s in upstate New York. So what happened to people who often were in this predicament? They were put into a mental institution.
That's true.
So she is in a mental institution, and that is where her story takes place.
Nice. That's beautiful. And
now, finally, this one is Natalia and the Selva de Terror. And this takes place in the late 2000s, the 2080s, in the Colombian jungle. And this, the art for this was done by Fri-YAY, and Hedwin Zaldivar is doing colors on that. Mm-hmm. And you can see it's kind of like got a rave vibe to it. It's kind of a rave situation. And you'll see from the covers coming up that this one is a zombie story.
Oh, nice. And all stories inked by Gianluca Spampinato?
Spampinato. He's a great guy. And so that was kind of what we did, is we have the same inker on everything to show some cohesion, as well as the same letterer. Mm-hmm. So this is the digital version. You can get the digital version as well.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So we've got our producer packs, comes with a t-shirt and basically every single thing from the campaign.
Nice. For all you completists.
Yeah. Oh, well, So we've got our main cover, and that is our bigger book.
Yeah, and 40 plus pages. That's pretty good.
Yes, it's 4 short stories. This is our Heavenly Hostess set. So instead of using naughty nice, because I get banned all the time from social media, we're using sweet and spicy. So you can see we've got the hostess in sweet and spicy, but then in her little lingerie there, that is an inks only book. So that won't have words in it. It'll just have all the inks.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So super excited about that. And this is the cosplay, the main cosplay cover. You can see there's a ghost, there's the teddy bear, there's the bird, and there's the jaguar. So you've got or the jaguar.
Yeah.
What he was into. And then the spicy cosplay cover. Mm-hmm. And so people are asking, how does this work? So those covers all contain all the stories. Now we get into the individual stories. So this one's called Funhouse, and this is from Alfred Trujillo, and it only has the story regarding Ruth.
Oh, okay. All right.
And this is the cosplay Dirty Little Secrets for the regarding Ruth story. Mm-hmm. We did not put Ruth topless in any of these, not because she's an amputee, but because she is a very sad character. She's a lovely person who is just victimized at every turn.
Yeah.
So we didn't want to portray her that way. So we utilized the hostess for that.
Good.
So this is a 2-book set. Alfred Trujillo painted these pieces, and you got the sweet and spicy. Mm-hmm. And you can see it says, regarding Ruth. This is Houdini by Trevor Grace. Alfred did colors on that. Mm-hmm. 2-book sets. But say you only want 1 book, then get the build your own and get the, and just choose specifically the books you want. And if you're not seeing something on there, please let me know, because sometimes things get missed and it's just an accident. Sitting Pretty with our hostess in the wheelchair.
Yeah.
And then we've got, this is an add-on only. This is called Dust to Dust. And this is the Vanilla Bee maid cover.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
So then we've got the Natalia book. And this is a J. Ferguson. Like I said, so these only contain just the story that is titled. So that's the J. Ferguson. I love that piece. It's painted. It's gorgeous.
It's beautiful.
This is our Hedwin Zaldivar, who's doing colors on the interiors of this story. Uh-huh. And you can see the rave and the zombies. Kind of lets you know what's going on right there.
There you go. I like this cover a lot.
Ale Borgabello. A lot of people really love his work. We've got the sweet and spicy. And that one's called Jungle Embrace, because clearly they're in the jungle and that's what's happening.
Yeah. Truth in advertising.
Right, and then we've got the cosplay. So because it's not the exact same pose,
Uh-huh.
we changed the names for each one, and so we've got the sweet and spicy for that as well. Now we've got our add-on books from Mr. Gunn and Alfred, Here Kitty Kitty and Little Lost Girl, and those are a couple of add-on covers that you can get, or just go straight to the build your own.
Sure.
All right, now we've got, this is our Michelle and the Blackbird Down Under from Australia, and this is Marissa Pope and Cece De La Cruz. Then we've got Courtney Rose, it's like my girls on this one, and Gwen Denault, and then this one is from Alfred, and got that whole retro kind of 80s vibe because it's in the 1980s.
Nice, nice.
So, and then here's our cosplay for that one. We had found a really cool place to shoot that had that coffee shop like in the background.
Oh, cool. Cool.
And then these are our add-ons. So we've got the heavy metal, sweet and spicy, and then the Ghastly Screams was one of our expansion goals. So what that means is that when we hit this goal, now this became unlocked, and you can now purchase that one, and that's going to be a holofoil.
Oh, nice, nice.
Keeping the holofoils pretty rare on this one. So this is Dee Dee. This is our ghost story over in Bishop's Castle, and it's a 2-book set. That one's, she's being carried away by ghosts. This is a new artist we brought in, Gorov. He's great. You can see the beautiful work he did with her looking in the mirror, and you see the ghost. And then next one is our C.V. Zane. He just does incredible work, and he's doing interiors for it. And then we've got our cosplay for it as well.
Excellent. And now we get to the add-on. And let me know if I'm going too fast.
No, you're good. You're good.
You.
So these are the add-ons, Freitas and Miyuk. So these are add-on books. And then we've got our bundle packs. So you can get your VIP, which comes with all the main books. So not the add-ons, but all the main books. And then we've got the Taste of Terror. So I picked covers that I felt embodied the story the best. Right. So that's our Courtney Rose and our Hedwin Zaldivar, our Alfred Trujillo, and then our other Alfred Trujillo. So these are you get one of each story with a cover that represents the story the most.
Oh, very cool.
And then the cosplay mega pack, where you get all the covers that are cosplay as well as the 4 prints.
Okay, excellent.
And then the Red Hot Spicy. So this is just topless pieces, and the bonus Shikari inks. So it's the Red Hot Sexy pack, and then this is the add-on, and then so now we're into the add-ons that you can include, which I put some up there, but originally they were just down here, but I wanted to let people know a little bit better.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I'm confused, so please feel free if ask me any questions.
There we go.
So here's some add-ons. You can get a T-shirt. You can get some prints. You can get your own Evil Eye, which the Evil Eye does come in the VIP pack.
Oh, cool.
And the producer packs. I got to make sure you're safe.
Yes, exactly. That's very socially responsible of you. Very good.
So our stretch goals: the patch, the music video, cosplay magnet, bookmarks, collector's cards. We've got so much. I'm actually adding on more because we're getting some more. We got the Natalia die cut, some mini prints going on.
Very cool.
Yeah, we've got the character cards, which are kind of like collector cards. And those were done by Kemi Kimi. We've got our Hostess magnet. So we've got 2 magnets, 1 cosplay and 1 art. We've got our enamel pin. And then we also hit the 250 backers Evil Eye charm. So if you want to buy the Evil Eye, it's going to be a bigger piece. It'll be a bigger one. But this one, you get like an itty bitty charm.
That's nice. And keep in mind that everything we've seen so far they made the goals.
Yeah.
And I looked earlier, I look at it this way. You're at 333 backers. You're halfway there.
I hope so. I really would like to get 600 to 800 backers. So we
even 666 would be pretty cool.
That would be awesome. But we did hit the soundtrack. So you're all going to get a CD, an actual CD with original music.
Yeah. And we just unlocked the 40,000 one.
Yep,
right?
that's the
Yeah.
CD,
So,
the soundtrack. We
very
did a
cool.
soundtrack for Fire Bitch 2.
That was
Everyone got a
cool.
CD as well.
Yeah, that was cool. That was very nice. Yeah, and I also like the 8-bit game that we got with Fire Bitch too. That was
I
fun.
love the game. We couldn't get it set up yet to where you can play it online. You do have to download it, but
Yeah.
it was just a fun little thing that we had the ability to come across.
It is. It was a very cool idea, Kara. And I see that some of these are to be announced. Do you want to give maybe just a slight hint as to what you guys are contemplating?
Well, I definitely want to have mini prints and cards for all the girls. But we're going to throw in some digital stuff as well. You know, we've got some music, we've got music videos. We always give you guys more than what we put on there.
For sure. Like I said, it was like, both all the packages I got, it was like Christmas morning. So, and here we go, more of that beautiful cover.
Just showing some of the art.
Yeah. So.
And then I also made some videos on how to change your pledge. So like if you're like, oh, this add-on opened up, how do you change it? Because when you hit manage your pledge, it's going to go to, you have to like cancel your pledge and then you have to like re-add it.
Okay.
So if you have a bundle where you picked your own stuff, it will remember everything that you had in there. But I did have a couple of videos on how to make a pledge, how to change your pledge, that sort of thing.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. And
so that's it.
There you go. Wow. That's impressive, Kara. That really is.
Thank you. We try.
Yeah, you do. Good work. That's awesome. That really is. And we've got more comments now. Let's see. Michaela Jade, glad to see you. Mwah, thank you again for the package. Mike James Bankston, awesome Kickstarter. Most definitely.
You do.
Yes. And Mike Jimmy says, Michaela Jade, it's okay as long as we send in our assignments on time. That's very good. You will be graded today. And let's see. And great energy vibes. That's why we're here. And I don't think BKM has even looked at the chat. No, who? Who are you people? Anyway, and always a great show. Anyway, thank you, Facebook user. Much appreciated. And Mike Jimmy Lordship de Bruin says, Carl Witzman, would you be looking at the chat with Kara on? Thank you for my justification there. And Michaela wouldn't be looking at the chat either. So, see, I'm doing it correctly, people. And the only contest here that I will like more than Facebook, and I like the title plenty. There we go. And let's see. And hello to everyone, to each their own. And that's why aloe juice is right next to Metamucil. That's true. You drink enough of that Coke product, and it would open up the gateways at both ends. And Trish Bankston says, we happily backed you too. Happy to support a modern day role model such as yourself. Seriously, you're so right. And no time for sleep. You're asleep for a long time later. Get to work. There we go. Wait, it was like an old Archie cartoon. I remember from a comic when I was growing up where Archie is bawling Jughead out. Said, do you realize you waste a third of your life being asleep? And Jughead's like, you do realize you waste 2/3 of your life staying awake? So I know
agree with that. I love that. Sleep is wonderful. I used to be one of those, like, you can sleep when you're dead, but I'm like, oh, it feels so good.
Yeah. I usually feel that way after I've told myself for a week, oh, I can sleep later. I need to get this crap done. And then when the hallucinations start kicking in, it's like maybe I should throttle back just a little. And Eric Hawkins says, analog, you mean traditional. That's how you old people think. Now, for young, hip dudes like myself, we're with the digital age. We're hip to that kind of thing. And Jake's Wonderful Illusions. Good morning to you. Question for Carol. Which comic book artist inspires your books? And that was something I meant to ask. Who inspires you?
It really depends. Like, I knew that with Natalia's story, I wanted Alfred Lay. I was like, and the thing is, I had seen a lot of his other work, and it was good, but I was like, okay, cool. And then I needed him for something to fill in, and he did. And I was like, this is so much more than what I expected, because I'm used to seeing his, doing for what he was doing for a while. And it was just not something, like, it was good, but it wasn't necessarily something that was meaningful.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was the project. It was the nature of the project. And what he gave me was just like, I love this. And so I wanted that emotion and that expression. So it really just depends. In our books, we choose our artists based on their style and the style of the story. Mm-hmm. So I think that, first of all, art is subjective. What is good and what is not is all dependent on what you personally like. And you'll see that with Unstable Frequencies, the interiors are all very, very different. Mm-hmm. Different colorists, different line artists. I really wanted JT on Ruth because I knew he could give me the grit that I needed in the places that I needed it. And I love his style, and he does do traditional analog art. So having that, I knew the attitudes were going to be there. I knew that the structures, the buildings, like all the things were going to be there. C.B. Zane completely went way above and beyond my expectations. CB is a fantastic storyteller. Ariel, he knows how to line out a page. The same thing with Alfred, and then dealing with Alfred, he knows how to tell a story. Comic book art is more than just panels. Right. It's more than just following directions. You need the artist to be confident enough and strong enough in their own right to be able to say, hey, this would flow better. Ariel threw in a couple of extra panels here and there, and I was like, good call. Okay, I'll move that around. Alfred moved a few panels around, and I was like, oh, okay, yes, this is better. So you want to work with an artist who really can embody what you're doing.
Yeah, very good. Now, did you approach the artist? Did you write the scripts and then approach the artist, or did they apply for the work, or what? How did that work?
Alfred and I write the scripts, and he does a lot of the outlining because he does a lot more. He does a lot more of the actual art. So he does a lot of the outlining. We go over everything, and then I'll go in and I'll, do more line by line. And then he'll come in and take a look. We'll send it to the editor, go back and forth.
Very cool. And we've got more comments. Radio Retro Future from YouTube. Hello to you. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. I've got your question, Jake, marked. We will ask that after a while. And that's Keisha Acuff there, broadcaster on the Rising Tide Broadcast Network and others. Hello, beautiful you. Mwah, glad to see you. And Trish Bankston, what does your con schedule look like this year? Would love to meet you and Alfred sometime. What does your convention schedule look like?
It looks like I need to get my ass in gear and put more cons together. I don't know, with COVID being like it is, and some places are shutting down, and I really don't know. I know I have Phoenix. I've got a few things. Always let me know what conventions are in your area. I would like to do some new things, go to some new places, and hit up some new blood.
That sounds good. And if you want to know where I am, not that anyone wants to meet me, go to risingtide.pub and sign up for my free newsletter. Hashtag always promote. And I've got another question from Jake. We'll come back to that. And I want witches, says Mike James Bingston. Don't we all? And Jake's wonderful. She makes her own costumes. She doesn't buy them. Jake had a question about buying.
Yeah, I saw that. Some things I will buy if I find something that I really like. And he had asked something about what do you not want to buy that other people? So if somebody asks me to wear a costume that I don't want to, I usually just tell them to pay for it. And sometimes they will, and then I'll end up wearing it. And sometimes it works out very well. I'm like, I actually really enjoyed this. So I'm pretty open-minded to it. The only time I'm really against it is when people be like, hey, will you do this costume? And they send this hentai version, literally a string up the crack, and pasties. And it's like, yeah, no. That's not a costume. I mean, it's I get the point, but no.
Look, I've apologized over and over. What do you want me to do? I mean, I'm sorry, okay?
Brian, yeah. I sent you nothing. Will you wear it for me?
For you, yes.
You see what I'm saying? And I don't get that. People be like, if I send you some lingerie, will you wear it for me? What the fuck do I get What do I get out of it? I get to wear your lingerie for you? Do I know you?
Was it laundered first? Asking for a friend?
Right?
Yeah.
I bought you nothing. Can you wear it for
me? Yeah. And Kara's just learned, don't try to out-weird Brian. He'll beat you with experience every time.
He will.
And I'll make Cookie take the pictures, too. That's how it works around here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it'll be the Brian Morris memorial picture when I tell her who it's for. Or actually for anyone but her. But anyway, Mike Jimmy Lurch to Bruin says, I know campaigns often cost more than the goal they set, so really happy to see you doing well. Seriously.
Thank you.
In all seriousness. And the thing is, what I'm always saying, when like somebody like Kara does this, that means you can do it too. It is, it may not be your first time out the gate. Now, Kara has worked and developed her worked, and she, knows people that, we all try to spread the word for her. That's what the Rising Tide's about. And, but one day you could, you could wind up with, about 300 supporters and, $42,000 in support. So, which, by the way, I need to check on the total up here, up to the top there, and see if we've made progress. Please check out Unstable Frequencies. We'd like to see a little bit, like see the needle move a little. Make Kara's getting up early with no coffee worthwhile. And that is such a good idea, says Mike Jimmy Lordsha de Bruin. Yeah, a lot of good ideas in there. Let's see. And let's see. We'll just get to this question right now. Jake's Wonderful Illusions. Question for Kara. What do you do in your spare time when not cosplaying and writing books?
Typically crying in a corner.
That's perfectly understandable. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. You have to do, this is something I've asked other people when they're out on these promotion tours for Kickstarters.
Mm-hmm.
You're probably busier than hell right now, just making personal appearances. And let me say right now, I'm grateful you showed up. I always love talking to you. And,
I only do these Kickstarters so I can come here and hang out with you on your show, right?
Oh yeah, I'm sure of that. Yeah, I'm totally. I've convinced myself of that long ago. Because I can be just as delusional as anyone. But no, it's like, how busy are you when you start doing these things and you're beating the drum for your Kickstarter? How, what's a typical day of promotion like for you?
So there's a lot of writing copy, and there's emails, and there's making sure that your campaign is running properly, making sure that there's no mistakes, which there always is, and you're gonna have to go back and do some corrections, checking emails, checking messages. Well, where is this? Well, I can't find that. What about that? We have a live show going on tonight. We have a live sales show for our store, because remember, it's interesting. People be like, oh, I'm gonna back your Kickstarter, but I'm gonna wait till I get paid on Friday. But it doesn't matter, because your money's not coming out until the campaign ends.
Right. Exactly.
So, that's that's one of those things. It's not coming out until the campaign ends, which is on the 4th.
Mm-hmm.
And I do try to end it on a Friday, because I do know that people are paid on Fridays. So I want to be able to accommodate that and have the money go through like over the weekend. So I also try to avoid certain sections of the month, because I know that sometimes that can be harder on people's finances. So I try to be considerate of everybody. And if there's anything anyone wants, you can usually come to me later, or I can get something to you privately as well. So yeah, we get up. I've got days where Shannon comes over and she does our shipping. She's been working on the store, trying to clean it up. It's a mess. Reorganizing the office. I have been chained to this for quite a while now. A lot of it is copy, a lot of it is sharing, it's posting. It's hard. I'm on restriction. My Facebook actually says, we're going to throttle your feedback. They're flat out telling you now that they're going to make sure that you're at the bottom of everyone's list. So if you're my friend online, scroll all the way down, you'll see me eventually.
Yeah.
Or go directly to my page, or just hit me up. Be like, hey, Kara, what's new? Or just join my mailing list and then actually open my emails.
There we go. That's important. Open the damn emails. But and we've got another friend here from the desk of the Small Press Publisher. Morning, all. Morning, Kara. Hope all is well. Check this show out Saturday nights on the Rising Tide Broadcast Network, 10 p.m. Eastern. So, and Sarah says, still listening, accomplishing some things while hearing you talk. Good for you. By the way, I love zombies. I got into zombies when people were having their fill of it, which has been awesome because discount fines. There we go. And let's see. I'm marking all your questions, Jake. And let's see. Here we go. And here we go. Radio Retro Future is contemplating if I should do a Kickstarter for a coloring book I am working on. What would you say, Kara?
Absolutely. Why not?
Yeah, seriously. If nothing else, run your, study campaigns. Because I did one about 5 years ago, and it was successful. Thank you, Eric Hawkins. But first thing I did was I studied similar campaigns. Look, even somebody, that wasn't in my genre, like, look at what Kara's doing. And, I learn something every time she puts one of these on. I'm filing for future reference. I'm probably going to do a Kickstarter this year for one of my books. But study other, people that are doing the same thing you want to do, and see what you can pick up, because ideas are free and easy to use. And from Desk of Small Press Publisher, I am happy that you are sticking with the cards. Coolness. And Mike James Bingston says 666. I think I heard that seems spooky. Yes, it did. Seriously. And everyone's saying hello to each other. And we're actually caught up with the comments now. So we have some questions from Jake. Wonderful Illusions. Question for Kara: have you ever had fans at cons that made you uncomfortable? Jake, yes. I've apologized over and over. It's like it's all I can do anymore. So anyway, Kara.
Oh, absolutely, of course. You're always going to have people that are going to be weird. I had one guy once, and I'm very understanding of people and their differences and everyone's idiosyncrasies and that sort of thing. But this guy, he had a baby pouch on with a unicorn doll in it, and it was fine. And he came over, and we were pleasant, and it was fine. You showed me your doll, and do you want to hug it? Do you want to snuggle it? Can I get a picture of you snuggling it? Hold it really tight and really close. Let me get another picture. Can I get a picture with you? And it's like, okay, you've been here for like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I can only snuggle your unicorn so much, man. Like, I gotta get back to anything else, please.
I'm assembling quotes from various guests, and I'm thinking I can only snuggle your unicorn for so long may wind up in that file. So, yes, but I'm listening to this, and I'm getting creeped out by it, and I can imagine.
Yeah, it was a little.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Okay. So that brings up a question I've been wanting to ask you for some time. It's like, you do a lot of interviews. We're trying to get away from the creepy element here. You do a lot of interviews, and what kind of questions do you appreciate the most?
Interesting ones, not the same old boring stuff. What's your favorite cosplay? How long does it take you to make a cosplay? How long have you been in cosplay? Like, stop asking the same boring shit. Like, you can Google that. Like, who cares how long I've been cosplaying? Like, do you really care? Ask me something you really want to know.
Yeah, exactly. Now, on the same token,
shoe size? Are you buying me shoes?
You never know. There is a subset out there that.
If you're buying me shoes, yes, but like otherwise, like, you don't know how shoes work. You don't even have feet.
Yeah. I'm guarantee that the shoes will match the shoelaces I'm sending you to model. So right. That sort of thing. So, but by the same token, what questions do you not, aside from boring shit ones, what questions do you get in interviews that you don't appreciate?
I don't appreciate things that are really nobody's business, and I don't appreciate anything that puts me on the spot. Nobody really likes that. Like, so, me and my wife are looking for a girl to fool around with. We're wondering if you'd be interested.
Uh-huh.
Or so I saw that you wrote that book, and it was a little dirty, and. If I'd have known that you were like that while I was in town. Known what? I wrote a dirty book? That doesn't mean that I'm going to be interested in you. I don't know you.
Right.
Writing dirty stuff does not mean that you're DTF.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Or And okay, this isn't an interview thing. This is a message thing.
Right.
The messages I get are atrocious.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're going to ask me if I am an escort, then verbalize in your typing that you are propositioning me. Don't just write the word scort. S-C-O-R-T. What is wrong with you? Like, the grammar is the most unattractive thing. Even if I was, I would not take that job because you can't spell.
That's right. Kara's turn-ons, good spelling. Full words, no contractions.
Nothing floats my boat like an Oxford comma.
Oh, sweetheart. I'm an expert in the Oxford comma, let me tell you that. I'll even defend it now, so.
Oh, I will defend it so much.
Oh, God, yeah. Let's see. Let's go through the Jake's questions here and hope that there's none here that we've just talked about. Let's see. Well, he does have a question here about your comics. What comic books inspire you?
Ooh. Okay, I never have a top anything because it always like comes and goes. Like, what's new? There's always something new. It's hard to have like a top. So I actually just finished reading Zombie Cage Fighter, and it was very good. It's a graphic novel, and it's kind of like Rocky meets MMA and zombies. And let me tell you, I appreciate in writing, it's not just about good writing. It's about thorough writing. Now, in Zombie Cage Fighter, I'm going to use this as an example because I love this. He references how things have changed in MMA fighting. He brings up that there are, there's weight classes, there's rules. And back in the day, you didn't have that. And he's right. They didn't have that back in the day. Originally, when MMA fighting started, you went into that octagon, there were 3 rules. No fish hooking, no eye gouging, and no biting. That was it. There were no weight classes. I watched 130-pound, little dude go in against a sumo wrestler. And that fight was over in less than 30 seconds. Little dude got scared. Big sumo wrestler came over him and he's like, boink, broke his nose. Done. It was so cool.
Love it.
I watched Oleg Taktarov get his cornea popped out because they held onto the fence and just kneed him to the face so many times. Yes, they should have probably stopped that before he lost a cornea.
Yeah.
But still, the fact that they utilized that information for this book, and you can tell that they really appreciated the sport and all of that. So I just think that when you are writing or you're reading writing, not everything has to be answered. In Fire Bitch, how does she have fire powers? Well, it's a comic book. How does she have her phone service? It's a comic book. But for the most part, those little things like Bishop's Castle being real, like those little things that make it real, that show you that this story could happen in your world, that the writer thought about these things. I did a movie once and it was so bad. I'm not even going to name it because I don't want this idiot nutsack to get any publicity at all. He was incredibly abusive. There was a whole bunch of weird stuff behind it. But anyway, the character that I was playing had been abused by many men. But yet she found this younger man that they met each other and she trusts him and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, why? What is so special about this damn kid that this woman would be interested in him and follow him and do these things after being in an abusive situation? He says, well, he's just a nice guy. And I'm like, and you're just full of shit.
Yeah.
Because it's not strong enough. Give me a story that's strong enough where I believe it, where the personality of the character actually shines through over their actions. You want their actions to be relative to their personality. They're doing what they do because of who they are, or because of the situation and how they respond to it comes in from who they are.
Wow, that's great. That's a great answer. And in that situation in that film, I could see like if the nice kid brought like the still beating heart of her abuser on their first date.
Right.
I could see something like that, but yeah, wow. Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's like a lot of people just don't think they think a lot of stories are just plot
Yes.
or incidents. You know, Joe D. McPhee and I have had some really interesting talks as of late about
I love talking
modern.
to Jody about stuff like that.
Oh yeah, oh he's great. We have him on Comic Book Spectrum, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, Thursday nights. # always promote. But no, we've had some good talks on horror about how a lot of horror is very unsatisfying these days.
Yes.
You know, you get somebody like, it's easy to invoke the name Stephen King, but a lot of what he does is not necessarily, to me, the situation, like a car that stalks you or a town filled with vampires. It's the personalities. And a lot of people that do horror now miss out on that, or they think that the revelation of the big bad's existence ends the story. You know, like I quote Frankenstein all the time by Mary Shelley, one of my favorite books, my first book I ever read as a human being, from cover to cover. And the book is about Victor Frankenstein changing over the course of the book.
Mm-hmm.
And also the creature changing over the course of the book, where Victor is learning how to feel remorse for what he's done, and the creature is basically reacting to the various cruelties that have been perpetrated on him. So it's really to me, it's a character study. And it's not just patching together pieces of dead people and hitting the jackpot once and then trying to do it again and then tearing her up. You know, it's more than that. And a lot of people miss out on that, I think.
Well, I'm glad you brought up Stephen King.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I can believe that a car can have supernatural powers and attack you more than I can believe a 12-year-old girl will have an orgasm from a gangbang with other children. I thought that was the most bull crap thing I was like, really? And I'm glad they pulled it from the It movies. And I think it was unnecessary for it to be in the book. I think it was stupid. It was weird. It made no sense. Mm-hmm. It was completely unnecessary. And he went off on some bullshit tangent about, well, the innocence and blah, 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 blah. Like, this does not work.
No.
And it's disrespectful. And that's the thing. Do not disrespect your readers. Do not disrespect what you're doing. So in Unstable Frequencies, in the story regarding Ruth, she's in an institution in the early 1900s. And let me tell you, I had to look up a lot of different things. And I did. Originally, what do we all think of when we go into insane asylum stories? Lobotomies.
Right.
However, lobotomies were not invented until the 1950s, which means you can't put them in the early story. You just don't. It doesn't work. But I found all kinds of other cool torture things that they did.
Yeah.
That worked, that are appropriate. How people dressed. They don't think of these things. Your nurse is not going to be dressed. Your modern day nurse is not going to be in a cutesy little, Halloween costume. She's not going to have the stupid hat. She's going to be in scrubs. Mm-hmm. And she's going to look kind of dumpy. Because that's the way that they dress now. So you've got to take into consideration. Like, I had to go through, there's a section where I thought I was going to put a zipper. And I was going to do like the unzipping zip. And guess what? Zippers were not available for your average person at that time. They were very, very brand new, limited. So there would not be a zipper. Happy birthday. We take that for granted.
Yes.
Happy birthday. There's a section of a story that has to do with a birthday in the late 1800s. And guess what? They did not sing happy birthday to you. But what did they do? You got to look that up. They sang for He's a Jolly Good Fellow. So that's what's in the book. Mm-hmm. So be conscientious of your time frame, your era. You can break the rules provided you do it well. There's a show on Hulu called The Great. Mm-hmm. If anyone's seen it. And they call it an occasionally true story. They took true events. Mm-hmm. They threw in some really fun twists They make it a little crazy, but they handle it very, very well. And that's, I love the way that they did that. It does make you look up, okay, what actually happened? What was real? And the weirdest stuff is real. Like the ridiculous stuff, you know, you're like, oh, you think that's real. That didn't actually happen because it seems real. But this thing over here seems super odd, and it actually did happen. So, you know, learn a little bit about your characters, why they want what they want, what their motivation is, and learn something about your story field. Learn something about, you know, your time frame. If you're going to have something slide, make it work.
Exactly.
You have to justify some of those things, unless you're like with Fire Bitch, you're like, it's comics, so back off.
Yeah, well, that's true. But then again, you know, like Fire Bitch is a more contemporary book than
it's also
like,
a comic.
It's also a comic book, but you know, just the same, a lot of people are going to ding you for basic inaccuracies. Like you said, though, unless you can come up with a dandy explanation for it, it's like
or a non-explanation.
Yeah.
If you watched An American Pickle, anyone heard of this?
I've heard of it, but I've not seen it.
So it's Seth Rogen, and he's a man who falls into a vat of pickles and accidentally gets like stuck in this, and he survives for 100 years. And when they bring him out, they're like, oh, oops, I guess you're in that. And our scientists, after a full explanation of how this process worked, you know, we're completely satisfied with everything they said. And they didn't tell you anything. Yeah. But they pretended to explain it, and it was adorable, and it gave you something. But yeah, be thoughtful of your location, your time period. You can't just make anything happen just because it happens. I mean, you can, but it's not good storytelling. It's not strong storytelling.
Yeah, and also to add on to that, if I may, that somebody is going to ding you for it because they are familiar with it.
Yes.
They'll call you out. I've had a couple of my stories is like where I didn't do my due diligence on them, and it got me now to the point where I'm paranoid about everything I do. So it's like, could a large city have like a trash removal in the 1920s? I looked that up one day. Another time I had a story where in World War II, what would happen to the German and Italian and Spanish embassies? And it's stuff like that somebody is going to read it, and when you get it right, they're going to go, oh, good. You know, you become their favorite author at that point.
Yeah.
And, you know, having worked in the funeral industry for a time, you know, I'm very sensitive about how funerals are portrayed in the media.
Yes, everyone's all about the coffin. We don't use coffins. We use caskets. There is a difference.
Exactly. Do you watch Ask a Mortician?
Yes, I love her.
I do too. Oh my gosh.
Good.
She's hilarious.
So she's interesting. I'm glad you brought her up, because why not here? So they were talking about how women morticians get paid less than men. Yeah. Here's the thing. They don't.
Oh, really?
The biggest part of a mortician's income is upselling. You're going to need a better casket. Are you going to really send grandma into the afterlife without Wi-Fi? Like, come on. A woman mortician is less likely to try to sell you on a bunch of crap you don't need for a person who's dead than a man. That's why they get paid less, because they sell less shit. So stop chalking it up to, well, women are paid less than men. No, it's not about being a woman. It's about you not upselling. It's you not doing that portion of the job. You want to make more money? Sell people more crap they don't need.
Exactly. And you could also make a case perhaps that women might be more intrinsically empathic than men for the most part. So, we could bury you in this $200 cardboard casket here, or you could have the one with the 8-cylinder 400 horsepower motor inside.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I like I said, having worked in that industry, I know, and then that sort of thing goes on in any sort of retail situation. Like when you go into a computer store, You buy a new computer or a new laptop. They say, well, do you have a printer? Do you have cables for that printer? Not that anyone uses cables. Do you have...
your old cables, they're old, and we can't guarantee it unless you have new cables, because we want to make sure that there's nothing wrong. And if something's wrong with your cable and you plug it into this printer and our printer doesn't work, we're not responsible if your printer doesn't work.
Exactly. Or we were taught at Office Depot back in the 90s. Well, do you have paper for your printer? Oh, how long have you had it? You know, that stuff may have dried out a little. It may jam in your computer, inside your printer, and could cause an explosion and probably burn the whole block down. So you better get like another ream of copy paper. Make sure it's a 96 whiteness to it, because especially if you send any sort of business letters out. So yeah, we got indoctrinated with that crap too.
So that's not to say you can't take liberties. So in the Dwelling of the Dead story with Dee Dee the Death Doula, there are certain things that have happened recently with the Colorado legislature in regards to licensure for psychics, licensure for mediums and metaphysical people and that sort of thing. Now, this story actually happens about 10 years in our future, but I'm kind of making some of those legalities happen then instead of now. I'm taking that liberty, but the laws are actually, like, the things that I talk about in regards to the laws are actually true.
Yeah. And, the thing is, if those things get passed, you look like a prophet. Like all the writers and artists who, like, on September 10th, 2001, were doing things with airplanes flying into buildings. Mm-hmm. And the next day, they're all on an FBI watch list.
So these are things that actually already happened, but I'm just making them not happen until then.
Well, there you go. And given politics, it might not. Especially, tie it to a voting bill. Then you're almost certain to be right. And Mike James Bankson says, sorry, my comment was confusing. FB stood for Firebit. I love the first two issues. Spaced out that Facebook could also mean, FB could also mean the Facebook. Very cool.
And that's why they don't like my advertising, because they think that I'm talking about them.
Oh, God, no. No, the only time we talk about Facebook on here is to complain, which is why we're on YouTube a lot.
Yay!
So, yay! And Bobby Thompson, hello, Bobby. Hey, Kara, how are you? Sorry I'm late, just woke up. Well, we haven't woken up yet, but we're still doing this. And Trish says, some of this chat is going to Planet Comic-Con. Would you like to go there? Hint, hint, beg.
I'm talking to them. I'm hoping. I'm usually at Planet, so I am hoping to be able to be there. I need to hit on my phone and be like, what's that?
I need to get out there too. I think I'm a 12-hour drive from there, but what the hell?
It's a nice show. I really enjoy it.
I know a number of people who attend every year, both as attendees and as behind the table people, and I've heard nothing but raves about that show. So I do need to put that on my bucket list. So. And Jake, your questions are absolutely fine. Yes, and you're right. She is really awesome. That's why we love her. And Kara's cosplays are amazing, says Bobby Thompson. She's awesome and a very talented colorist. That is true. And Kara, Brian would jump at the bit to wear nothing for you, says from the desk of a small press publisher. Isn't that blatantly obvious? God, I was trying to conceal it so well. Well, conceal being an inoperative word here. Anyway, good morning, guys, from Grant Lankard. Can't talk for long. Just wanted to say hi. Going to try to make it to the green room tonight. Grant, we'll look for you there. And Eric Hawkins is going to have nightmares thinking of Brian wearing nothing. No, I'll have my wedding ring on. I'll have a smile on, so I'll be perfectly fine. And remember, you're not truly dressed unless you're wearing a smile. And you're not alone, says Carl Witzman. I guess you're the only one, Kara. So anyway, Bobby Thompson has told people about Fire Bitch. Good deal. I've talked up that book too. So. And I bet Kara would make a great Dorothy from the Zombieful World of Oz.
I don't even know what that is. I'm going to have to look that up.
Oh, my God. Kara, here's the pitch. Here's my pitch for it. Eric is the writer and artist of it. And he's terrific. He and I have worked before. The pitch is Dorothy Gale has just left the sanitarium, convinced that all these delusions of emerald cities and flying monkeys were just fantasies. And then she's attacked by zombies. And she is rescued by a scarecrow a lion, and a steampunk tin woodsman.
So I'm looking at this on Kickstarter.
Yeah, it was a Kickstarter. Eric's raised quite a bit for that book. And
yeah, he's done great. Well, you know what? Hit me up if you're interested. Let's do a cosplay cover for the next one.
You heard her, Eric. You heard her. Oh, and by the way, issue 2 has a script from a certain fez-wearing writer about about Dorothy's time in the sanitarium.
Oh, we need to talk sanitarium.
Oh.
Wasn't it so much fun doing research for that?
Oh my God, yes. Oh.
And you learned all about the lobotomobile?
The what now?
The lobotomobile?
No, what's this?
Oh my God. So the guy that created lobotomy?
Okay.
You know how now it's like, oh, your kid has ADD, have some Ritalin. Well, back then it was, oh yeah, your child is acting out. Let's give him a lobotomy. And the guy that created lobotomy went around in a bus. He drove a bus across the country, and people would bring their people. They'd come in and ice pick them. So it turns out that actually JFK's sister was they publicly made it like, oh, she's mentally retarded. She was not mentally retarded. She did not have retardation. She was lobotomized in this lobotomobile and went a little off. And so they just told everyone that she was mentally retarded. But no, they thought that she was manic, whatever. They did this to everybody. My wife, she's having some emotional problems. Better give her a lobotomy. So instead of Ritalin and instead of Paxil and instead of all these things, they just lobotomized you. And he would drive across the country just popping people. Hey, me and my magic ice pick. You know.
Yeah. It's like a good humor truck, except with brain damage.
Yes.
You know? I never heard that about the truck, but I do know that the doctors.
It's amazing.
Yeah, they were recommending it like aspirin and like electroshock therapy in the 40s. Oh yeah. So yeah, we'll have plenty to talk about. And I did my research, and we went to a very dark place with this.
It gets really dirty though, because if you actually look at the history of women in mental health.
Yeah.
They believed that your uterus and all of those things were what made you crazy. Yeah. And you were hysterical, which is where the word hysterectomy comes from. Right. They would remove your uterus because they thought it's what made you crazy. And the thing is the vibrator was actually invented in the early 1900s to help women orgasm because that would make them less crazy.
Mm-hmm.
On that same note, men in this country are circumcised to prevent them from playing with themselves because, well, men can't touch themselves, but women need to orgasm to not be crazy. But men are punished for doing the same thing. It's so weird. But women have a stigma that, like, you're not allowed to do that. But men, it's like, yeah, okay, go ahead. It's so weird.
Yeah, and I can tell you that that circumcision thing doesn't work. I hear. So yeah, it's like, oh, moving on. Sarah says,
enough.
Yeah, really. On that note, and Sarah says my cure for hiccups is a great example of out weirding someone, including making a buff wrestler run away. I will tell you about that. Let me tell you about that after the show. I have a hiccup cure that has worked to the point. I need that. Yeah, no, you don't. Don't commit to this until you hear this.
Okay.
Yeah. Carl, I feel like I need to get in the shower and cry now.
Now, you should have gotten in the shower and cried a long time ago, buddy. You're late.
I know. Carl Witzman, hashtag mental trauma. That's what happens when you get me and Kara together. It's like we take no prisoners. And proofreading is very important in all kinds of things, says Bobby Thompson. That's true. That is very true. And Ace Bonnie says she's busy enough. Kara never sleeps. She has a duty to this world to promote her stuff. And Bobby Thompson gets paid on Tuesday, so let's keep this in mind for all future Kickstarters here. And from the desk of a small press publisher, Carrie, you don't need to do a Kickstarter to be on Brian's show. Yes, that's true, and I've told her this frequently. Heck, you don't need a Kickstarter to be on my show. I have too much fun talking shop and life with you, like our conversations about monopolies. Yes.
Well, hit me up. Let's do that. I love talking about all kinds of stuff. So.
Oh, hell yeah. I love tuning in and playing Heckler, too. And good morning, Rick Bradley. You tuned in at the wrong point. And Bobby Thompson, Facebook can be a jerk. You're being far too discreet about it. And yes, my Facebook feed was throttled back, too. Yeah. I get that all the time. And Kara and I are friends. She helped me through a serious heartache. Well, that's because she's a wonderful human being. That's why. And the Ninja Gango, right on. Y'all have a good morning. The Ninja, good to see you. Hope you're having a great one. And very wise words, dude. And thanks for the tip. You're more than welcome, Radio Retro Future. And the Hiccup Cure can go into the green room. I can clear out the green room with my Hiccup Cure. And wait, you hear it, Kara. Reminds me of that pervert who asked my best friend if he could get a selfie with her exes, Bobby Thompson. Listen, I've apologized over and over. I mean, I was younger then. What can I say? I was only 64. Anyway, Sarah says that would make a great status with no context. Yeah. And Kara likes sugarless Monster Energy. I'm not sure if that's like the Haribo Diet Bears or whatever, but and Michaela Jade has a good question here. Now, did you always have this great attitude, or did a life event change you?
Oh, I think it's adorable you think I have a great attitude. Everyone thinks I'm just such a crabby beast.
But you are crabby beast, Kara. That's the thing. We embrace your crabbiness. So.
Let that hate flow through you.
Sith Lord Kara over here on my left, yeah. Bobby Thompson, I hate when people are perverted towards female cosplayers. Yeah, it's very uncomfortable to watch, and it brings out the white knight in me. I remember seeing a guy who was basically following a cosplayer with his camera down around his belt buckle, and it was aimed just north of the back of her belt buckle. So, and I made sure I got in front of him and stood behind her, because I'm an a-hole. And Brian is now Googling TTF. No, I'm waiting till after the show. And I wonder if Carl's taking sound clips of some of this. Yeah, the thing is, I cannot be blackmailed because I fess up to everything. So, and suddenly I'm thinking about Weird Al's Word Crimes, and that's a good thing to think about. That's a great song. That really is. Mm-hmm. And Michaela Jess says, yes, good spelling and having a brain is so sexy. It is true. Why do you think I got by on my charm? What? And really, I love the Oxford comic. Never met a comma he didn't like. And Carl is napping. Shush, Sarah. And Bobby Thompson says he used to be friends with a guy who flat out refused to use readable, proper grammar. I had a former friend who used to send me emails in text speak. And I'm like, I'm not even, if I even think it's text speak, I'm not even opening it anymore. And I also talked to somebody who wanted to write an entire novel in text speak. Yeah, that was
that novel just became a short story.
Yeah.
You had to typed up by a stenographer too?
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, it's like, this is probably the worst publishing idea I have ever heard in my existence, and I've come up with several.
I don't know what a stenographer is.
Yeah, I know, you and me, and that's it. Yeah. Well, it's I was reading a book recently where somebody said, somebody's doing stenography, and they're like, stenography? Who does that anymore?
Well, you have to learn about history. There's so much amazing stuff, and you just don't want to regurgitate something else. Like, learn about what you're putting out. There's no reason to not do it.
Exactly, and that's one thing the internet is good for. You can do some quality research. And then
you're going to spend hours on research and realize, oh crap, I didn't write anything down.
Have you been spying on me? That's most of my days. I get my mail down in the rabbit hole anymore. So, Molly Daniels, I've had two guys who want to buy Teacher's Pet, which is a very spicy book, to spice up their love lives. In retrospect, I should have steered them to one of my other books. No, I think I've read Teacher's Pet. I think it would have worked. And Eric Hawkins says, Kara, do you find con hygiene has improved in recent years, or is the stink the same as always? I don't have to get close to people at cons because I am behind my table, but I still get a whiff at times. Have you noticed that?
It's improved because they're masked up and not there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, that's a good point. And Bobby Thompson, like in pro wrestling, damn, yes. And Molly Dana says, unfortunately, I was away from the table when it happened, but I was told their better halves said no. That's why it's the old phrase, it's better to ask forgiveness than permission.
See, and I I understand that, but you don't apologize after groping someone and be like, sorry, so
Yeah.
there's a line there.
Yeah, fifth and sixth times were accidents, I swear. So yeah. And Bobby Thompson, thinking about things is very important. That is very, very true and very wise words, Kara. That's why she's here. That's why I tell people I love Kara. She is gorgeous, yes, but she's smart and she's funny. I mean, come on. That's why we love having her here. And just wrote down Zombie Cage Fighter as a graphic novel. What a coincidence. Anyway, and because he's a nice guy, yeah, I've seen enough nice guys, says Rick Bradley. And Michaela, we'll see you later on. Mwah, have a great day. And Bobby Thompson can't stomach the Saw movies. I can see that. They're a bit of a gore fest. I like the writing on most of them. And I like how...
on most of them.
On most of them, yeah. I like when everything from, like, one movie builds on what happened in the previous one. But at the same time, you don't need to see the previous one.
Right.
I'm finding anymore that when I read or watch whatever, my editor mode kicks in now.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah, and it's like, well, like one thing I'm on a crusade about, a little side here, when we do our review show on Thursday night, is when I pick up a series comic, if I'm picking it up, like if it's the start of another phase of a mini series, or whether it's the next issue in 4,000 issues, I'm always empathizing with the new reader. Can I pick up enough information that I understand what the characters are about?
Yes, exactly.
Because that was one thing, Jim Shooter, say what you will about his reign at Marvel back in the 80s, but he always made sure that Peter Parker thought about, getting bit by that spider, and his Uncle Ben. Daredevil kept talking about, well, I was blinded and in an accident, my senses became enhanced. Just one line to explain everything. And, like I grew up on the Adventures of Superman TV show. The opening of every episode, Superman, strange visitor from another planet who can, and then talk about his powers and who he is in real life and fights the never-ending battle. In 30 seconds, they just told you everything you need to know about that character, and you can watch the show.
Right.
And it just, to me, that just makes sense. Ace Bonnie, have a good day at work. Definitely. And you have a great day, too. And Bobby Thompson, many horrors are more concerned with gallons of blood being spilled. Yeah, and to me, that's not horror.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We did not do that. So it's very Tales from the Crypt.
Exactly. And then, and that's one of the, knowing you, having read Fire Bitch, having confidence in what you've done, that's why I pledged. Seriously. And Sarah says, I've returned books that had animal cruelty in it. I couldn't get through the thing. It was heinous. I totally agreed. Bobby Thompson, glad I never read it. Yeah, it's a good story, but that one aspect makes it very, very cringeworthy.
It's unnecessary. It's like, don't put extra stuff in your books that don't make sense, that aren't necessary. Tommy Wiseau's The Room is a really great example. I have cancer, and are we doing anything with this? Is this coming back? What's going on?
Yeah, it's very non sequitur. And could that part have been excised from the work, and the story still moves on? See,
right?
You know that
with it because they did it in the movies twice.
Yeah. Ugh. Highly cringeworthy. And yes, research is important. And yes, Rick Bradley, Stephen King had some really weird coke the day he wrote that part of it. That's a good explanation for it. And great detailed research that's refreshing to hear. And looking stuff up is key. Some people don't do that at all. Travel Channel has a show called Tales of the Terror that's hosted by Freddy Krueger himself. That means it's awesome. And I've heard that Seth Rogen movie, and I'm grateful to all the research on the way to something like a zipper. That's a lot out there. But it's little touches like that, I remember I wrote a story recently where I had to look up eye hooks and when they were first used, but it adds to the verisimilitude of the work, and when people, like I said, when people who know this stuff see that, you've made a fan.
Well, and eye hooks, I don't believe were invented until later. Originally, I believe they used what are called frogs,
Right.
which are not cheap, by the way, and they're like an embroidered cloth button.
Yeah, and you can still get those in a lot, in the sewing stores like Joann's and Poppy
They're not
Log.
cheap. And they're
No, they're
beautiful.
not. No,
they're not. Yeah,
I mean, they're gorgeous, but they're also a pain in the butt to put on as
that's
well.
right.
Yeah, I do sewing. And Bobby Thompson says strong storytelling is also very key. A former friend of mine got verbally blasted for stuff like having samurai and ninjas exist 3,000 years ago when they didn't. That's a good point. That's a good point. And
But it is not ninjas. It is ninja.
ninja,
The plural of
excuse me.
ninja is ninja.
Pardon me.
No, that's Bobby, not you. You just read.
Okay, I just read what they say. And Sarah, here's a question. What is something you've researched for a story that could be alarming for the authorities without them knowing it was for a story?
Pretty much anything I look up.
Yeah. My NSA agent drinks
Stay out
heavily
of
now.
my-
Yeah, I've done terrible things to that man. But and I also have to. I've also started putting in research at the end of my search argument.
I love that.
It buys me a little time, and it sounds like Kara would do a great Harley Quinn impression. There you go. Impersonation, too big for big words. Yeah, and Bobby Thompson's been curious about playing Comic-Con, and Sarah, we welcome you, listening mode or otherwise. And I was tired of the whole zombie thing, and then I read Zombie for World of Oz. You definitely need to grab those. Yeah, seriously, we'll talk about getting a hold of them. And Kara would kill it as Dorothy. Dorothy is kick-ass in these stories. She really is. She is not a victim at all. So, and sounds like that Criminal Mind where people were getting killed by a priest performing an exorcism on because their loved ones thought they were possessed, which there is a history of things like that, too. You know, it's not just fiction. And Bobby Thompson's going to bring you some monster energy when he sees you. And yay! And for this one, Small Press Publisher, I never see you as crabby, Kara. You have too much humor to be crabby. So
The humor hides it.
Yeah, I hear that. And it's like owning a mirror. But not everyone can read or understand text speak, says Bobby. I only speak autocorrect in English. Rick Bradley says, speaking of text speak, I remember a friend of mine got up to leave the room for a bit and said, BRB. I'm like, be right back has the exact same number of syllables, for crying out loud. Good point, Rick. Good point. And let's see. And now here's a very viable question. Do you sell merchandise, Kara, like t-shirts, hats, etc.?
I do have, I don't have hats, but I do have some t-shirts available on my store, 183degreestudio.com. And you can get either my studio t-shirt or you can get my Sorry About Kara t-shirt. It says Sorry About Kara.
Truth in advertising, the Federal Trade Commission gets on you, right? So yes, you could, Jake, you could wear Kara against your chest, your manly chest. So keep that in mind. And where would they pick that up, Kara, by the way?
183degreestudio.com.
There we go. And Molly Daniels, horror movies. Why can't we get in the running car? No, let's hide in the tool shed behind the chainsaws.
Yeah.
You've got the formula down, and make sure
But
at
don't
least one
grab
of
any
them.
chainsaws.
Oh, that's
don't
true.
use them for your own protection.
Yeah, and make sure you have at least one virgin in the group too. And Frog sounds riveting, says Bobby Thompson. Yeah, you're fitting in here. And I love that commercial. It's so spot on, says Donna Carlene. And Bobby Thompson's been doing research on phobias and cryptids for 2 fan fiction series I've been working on. Cool, that sounds good. And Kara sells Magic the Gathering trading cards because she's modeled for it. You have modeled for the cards, haven't you?
Yeah, for the Amara Tandrist and Soul of the Cord.
There we go. 183 Studios. And Jake's Wonderful Illusions. Do you have 3XL size shirts?
Yes.
There we go,
That's
Jake.
my most popular size.
Oh, there you go. See, your excuses have now gone away. And with that, we have caught up with the comments. Yay. Thank you, guys and gals, for your great and stuff here. So, let's see. And here we go. Yeah. I noticed. So anyway, so I think this is a good time to close out the show, so I can tell you about my hiccup cure. Yes. So let's give you the screen here, and let's see, and one more from Bobby Thompson. Kara's the namesake of the mayor for one of my Power Rangers series, where I'm consulting with a real life cop. Excellent. And that's the thing. This is a little aside from me. if you get in with law enforcement, it is really provides some interesting story ideas for your stories, and also gives your stories a lot of verisimilitude, because what you see on TV and what happens in real life are very, very different with the police. And you take care and stay creative too, Rick Bradley. Thank you for being here, brother. So anyway, Kara, I'm going to give you the whole screen here and tell everybody how they can keep up with you, and say us a nice thing or two about Unstable Frequencies. Why don't you?
A nice thing or two?
I know. There I go. Right.
So you're going to love all of the variant covers. There's something for everybody. There are sweet and spicy options, cosplay options, some amazing, amazing artists on this project. I'm loving it so much. 4 stories, all horror-based, not gore porn, real, actual, thought-provoking horror stories. And that ends on February 4th. So definitely go to the Kickstarter. The unstablefrequencies.com goes to the Kickstarter as well. If there's anything you're interested in, please feel free to hit me up. I'm Izzy Power Girl everywhere. I'm also Brian's friend on everything. So just go to his page and find me.
Definitely set you up. Glenn Fleming says, nice to see you both. Good to see you, Glenn. Thank you for being here. And keep an eye out. Glenn Fleming is going to be releasing that Jack Kirby book next month, too. So, and it's well edited. I can vouch for that. Have a good weekend. You too, Glenn. Thanks for being here. Carol rocks. Amen to that, Bobby Thompson. Thank you for being here. And Kara, thank you for being here. Appreciate you being here, as always.
Thank you for having me.
Well, tell you what, I'm going to put you in the background here, and then we will talk afterwards. All right? And thank you again to CARA NICOLE. Isn't she amazing? That's why we love having her on here. And, okay, Kara. And anyway, thank you all for being here. Appreciate all of you for showing up. And we also appreciate Jeffrey Hayes at Plasma Fire Graphics. Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you. When you put your all into writing a great book, you definitely want a super, super cover that'll help sell that work, right? So that's why you need to talk to Plasma Fire Graphics. Check out their Facebook page. Look at all the beautiful examples that they have done for many, many publishers, including Rising Tide Publications this year. And also check out their website, plasmafiregraphics.com, and contact Jeffrey Hayes and find out his very, very indie-friendly prices on the various works he does. And it's not just book covers, but also all kinds of graphics to help you sell it on social media. That's Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you, because it definitely matters to your readers. Also, we want to thank our Patreon supporters for helping keep us on the air and for supporting the Rising Tide broadcast network and our publications. And if you'd like to see your name on this card, check out what we offer you in return for your support at www.patreon.com/Brian K. Morris. And this has been a Rising Tide Broadcast Network production. Stay tuned later tonight to Drinking with the Davies at 7 p.m. Eastern, where Ted and Christine Davies mix up some great adult beverages using often natural ingredients. So you want to tune in for that. Followed by the Historical Fencing Guild with Nicholas Anthony Tockert, where he talks about martial arts and combat with energy and with humor. You will love it. Nick Tockert, please check him out. Then tomorrow night, from the desk of the Small Press Publisher, Joe D. McPhee will talk comic books in a fun and entertaining way. He's always excellent. Followed by Stupid O'Clock at 11 o'clock, great nerdy geek talk going into the wee hours until Sunday at 1 o'clock, when Dan Holofield takes the next shift with The Last Man Standing. And then 10 p.m. will be Comics, Chaos, and Sass with Heather Ellen, talking about comics, and you have a chance to promote your work on there too. Definitely check those out. And thank you, Trish, for being here. Love you, hun. Hope and continued success on your Kickstarter. Please check hers out. Also check out unstablefrequencies.com for more on CARA NICOLE's Kickstarter campaign. Please give her some love on that, would you please? It looks like a great project, and she's got so many great thank you levels that you're going to want to get in on it. I predict that now. And so we're going to close out the show. And again, thank you very much to each and every one of you. We hope you have a super, super weekend. Hope you're really creative and get a lot of things done this weekend. That's what we're planning on our end here. And so everyone, thank you for being here. Thank you for being so welcoming of CARA NICOLE. We promise we'll have her back as soon as possible. And as always, my friends, stay smart, stay safe, wash your hands, and never apologize for being awesome. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Nevermind the Furthermore, a Rising Tide broadcast network production. If you enjoyed any part of this show, please give it a like or a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and consider becoming one of our Patreon supporters. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time on Nevermind the Furthermore.